Danielle, and that's affecting things. And then there's the heat as well to contend with.
So for people who don't have air conditioning, for example, opening up the windows, and if you're sensitive to the smoke, that allows smoke to come in. So we're in this situation where we have dangerous heat, and on top of that we have these smoky conditions, which can also be dangerous for many. So this is not ideal for for today and tomorrow. Really, here's your Capital Chef Skycam, and all that is smoke. So we are sitting around a 6 right now in Calgary, in most places in southern Alberta between a 5 and a 6. So we're not as bad as some parts. The northern parts, they're at 10 plus right now. So we're doing better than that, and we'll see an improvement. It will still be a little smoky tomorrow, but not quite as smoky as today. So we'll see things start to improve as we go through these next 24 to 48 hours. But right now, and really up until tomorrow morning, we could remain at a 6, which is the top end of the moderate scale. So if you are sensitive to the smoke, this is something, of course, to take seriously and to be aware of. When you look at temperatures, you can tack on another couple degrees to these temperatures if you want to factor in that humidity for how it feels. And also if you step into, well, if there are any moments of sunlight without all that smoke attached to it, it's even hotter. 32, feeling closer to about 34 with that humidity right now. And you can see Medicine Hat and Milk River sitting at 33 degrees, Banff at 30. This excessive heat will be another couple of days, and then we'll see things subside, although that will just be for a brief period of time, about 3 days. I'll show you that coming up in a second as well. You can see poor air quality off to the east towards Saskatchewan. You can also see we're not under any sort of watches and warnings with regards to the smoke right now, but it's not ideal. We're still in the moderate part of the scale, and severe thunderstorm watches and warnings up the foothills, really central and northern foothills. But let me pop in the actual other warning that's been in place for days and days and days and days, about a week. This is the excessive heat warning in place, and that's still in place and will continue to be in place for the next couple of days. And I'll show you the upper air pattern here. As we head through the next couple of days, this ridge of high pressure will start to move on out and shift out. That's going to allow this upper level low in. That's going to do a couple of things. One, it'll help temperatures cool down. Even if it's just for a brief time, things will cool down. But it's also going to allow this instability as this upper level low tracks near us. And that's going to create some decent thunderstorms. So that could arrive Thursday. Friday is a possibility as well. With that instability, the heat we have, the humidity, it could be a recipe for some supercell storms that we could have arrive here for Thursday. This line of storms right now, tracking through the mountains, will likely die out before it gets to the QE2. So I'm going to show you that on the timeline here. And you can see as we play through the evening, it should die out. There'll be some cloud cover here, but we shouldn't see any of that activity. And if we do, it will be pretty weak in nature, maybe just an isolated shower, non-severe thunderstorm. Tomorrow, very sunny, however, still fairly smoky with the AQHI, Air Quality Health Index, going from a 6 to a 4 throughout the day tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the hottest of this whole stretch at 34 degrees, feeling closer to 36, 37 at times. And then, as you can see, we will start to cool down. Still in the 30s, though, for Wednesday, but likely just out of that excessive heat warning criteria by Thursday and through the weekend. That's your Capital Chef 5-day forecast.
Danielle, in now for our first peek at the weather. I can hear the wind blowing, but how long will this extreme heat last?
Well, quite a while still. We're looking at another couple days of it, Tara, and I will say this wind is very nice out here considering it's so hot. So the base temperature is around 32 degrees, and this wind is helping things feel a little cooler. This is very reasonable out here right now, except for the smoke. So we do have to talk about that too, because that is another thing that's not ideal. So in addition to this excessive heat, hard to open up the window at night, because then what creeps in is this smoky air. So we've been at a 6 today on the Air Quality Health Index. We'll be at a 6 in through tomorrow night and early tomorrow morning, and then things will slowly start to improve with regards to the smoke. But tomorrow should be the hottest day of this 10-day heat stretch, with a high of 34 degrees, feeling closer to 36 or 37 with the humidity. We'll talk more about all of this and when it will somewhat cool down in just a little bit. Tara.
Thank you. We have poor air quality tonight. Is that BC fire smoke, or where are we getting that from?
It's kind of a mix of everything as things are spinning around. And we're not getting the worst of it here, but it's certainly not great here. And it will continue to improve as we go through these next 24 to 48 hours. So where are we at right now in comparison? Well, Calgary, we're sitting at a 6, which is on the high end of the moderate part of the scale. I'll step out of the way so you can see that full scale. You can see by Fort McMurray, 10 plus, of course, and you can also see that thicker smoke smoke really in northern Alberta and then carrying in through much of Saskatchewan. So Edmonton is at a 7, so that's on the high end. And then we're at moderate, Red Deer and through Calgary and Lethbridge. So let me advance this to show you what we're looking at as we go through the next 24 to 48 hours. And we will start to see things improve over the next couple of days. In fact, tomorrow you'll notice an improvement in itself. So we're in the right direction there. But of course, off to the east, closer to Saskatchewan, the air quality is worse. And you can see by the Cereal area, basically south of Coronation down to Medicine Hat, that's where we have thicker smoke. And you can see for the southern interior BC as well, all these places under the air quality statements right now, and even Banff up through Jaspers, where all these are the areas where it's the worst right now, outside of what's happening in northern Alberta, of course, and much of Saskatchewan. Also, to lay in the heat warning, again, we're at about day 9 of this. So when you go to open the window at night, because we have a nice breeze to get a break from this heat, you get smoky conditions. So if you are sensitive to the smoke, this is something to be aware of as we go through these next 24 hours and looking at that poor quality, starting to improve to about a 3 by late day tomorrow, maybe even just a 4. All right now sitting at 31 in Calgary, 32 in Brooks, 33 in Medicine Hat. So all pretty well in the 30s at this point. We have this ridge of high pressure still in place, but this pattern is about to shift. We have this upper level low that will change the game for us. So this will allow cooler air to start to make its way in. Relatively cooler air. We will also be opened up to some very active weather with this as well. We have the heat, we have the humidity, now we have the instability. So by Thursday, it could be a very active day. You can see these storms passing through the mountains right now. Likely this will die out before it gets to the QE2, so it will die out significantly in our foothills. I'm going to show you how this should play through. By 7:30, you can see things quiet down, and by the time it makes its way to the QE2, it should be just mainly cloud cover. Tomorrow is a stable day, lots of sunshine. Tomorrow, though, will be the hottest day of this 10-day stretch. Looking at a high of 34, feeling closer to 36, 37 with that humidity and the air quality health index going from a 6 in the morning to a 4 in the afternoon, so it will improve. Still in the 30s for Wednesday, starting to get down to the 20s by Thursday, and then you get mid-20s for Friday and Saturday. That's your Capital Chev 5-day forecast. Capital Chev Skywatch camera bouncing around because it's gusty. Gusty conditions, pretty good considering, gives some relief from the heat. Not so good, these smoky conditions that are here to stay up until about tomorrow morning, when we'll start to see things improving at least a little bit throughout the day tomorrow. All right, 31 is the current temperature. Our daytime high was 32. It's been feeling around 33, 34 at times with that humidity out there. So it's a hot one once again. And just to give you an idea of where we're sitting with regards to smokier conditions, you can see all that more dense smoke up to the north, northern Alberta and down. So of course they have the air quality statements in place here. Fort McMurray area around a 10 plus right now with regards to that air quality. So you can see that's at the top end of the scale and as worse as it gets. Edmonton is sitting at a 7, Hinton at a 4. Then you look down through Red Deer, Calgary and Lethbridge, we're ranging between 6 and 5. Now this will improve slightly, but will still be around that moderate part of the scale even through tomorrow as well. All right, that's why you can see denser smoke over here. So south of Coronation down through Cereal to Medicine Hat, closer to Saskatchewan, more dense smoke. And you can see for the southern interior BC, also from Canmore up through Banff and through Jaspers, where we have the air quality statement also in place. Everywhere else, not looking at one for the south, but to the north, air quality statements, and again we could see severe storms really for the central foothills area for today. We're not looking at that in the south end. You can see the extreme heat warning in place once again, and for the 9th day we're looking at a couple more days of this. Tomorrow 31 in Kamloops, again very smoky for the southern interior BC. Active weather from Grand Prairie to Fort McMurray, 30 degrees for Red Deer, 34 for Calgary, 35 for Drumheller tomorrow, and well into the 30s and close to 40 for Medicine Hat. This comes with lots of sunshine and smoky conditions. Capital Chev 10-day trend showing you that by the time we get into Thursday, we're just below the criteria for the excessive heat warning. So we'll have Thursday, Friday and Saturday feeling a little better, but then we'll be on the ups once again with regards to temperatures. Tara?
Thank you, Danielle. Police